Jason Miller hadn't been on a real date in almost 4 years. Not since his wife, Emily, passed away from cancer and left him alone with a 3-year-old son and a house that still smelled faintly like her lavender shampoo. Dating wasn't just uncomfortable, it felt wrong. Like betrayal. So when his sister Megan mentioned a blind date, Jason laughed it off immediately. "No way," he'd said. "I don't even know how to flirt anymore. I pack juice boxes for a living." But Megan was persistent. She always was. "She's normal," Megan promised over the phone. "Kind. Smart. No drama. Just coffee. 1 hour. If it's terrible, you leave." Jason looked over at his son, Noah, who was sprawled on the living room floor with dinosaur toys, narrating an epic battle in a tiny, serious voice. Jason smiled despite himself. 1 hour, he finally agreed. That's it. The coffee shop Megan chose was in downtown Seattle. Warm lights, exposed brick, soft indie music humming in the background. Jason arrived 10 minutes early, nervously adjusting the collar of his button-down. He felt out of place among the younger crowd typing furiously on laptops, their lives seemingly unburdened. He checked his phone. Megan, she'll be there at 6:30. Brown hair. Blue coat. Jason exhaled slowly and ordered a black coffee. Simple. Safe. At exactly 6:30, the bell above the door chimed. Jason looked up and forgot how to breathe. She wasn't just attractive. She was striking in a quiet, effortless way. Mid-30s, maybe. Long brown hair pulled loosely over one shoulder, a tailored blue coat, and eyes that scanned the room with a calm confidence that made Jason instantly self-conscious. She spotted him and smiled. "Jason?" she asked. He stood too fast, nearly knocking over his chair. Yes. That's me. I'm Claire," she said, extending her hand. Her handshake was firm. Warm. They sat. For a moment, neither spoke. Jason noticed small details, the faint freckle near her left eye, the way she wrapped both hands around her coffee mug like it grounded her. "So," Claire said gently, breaking the silence, "blind dates are awkward." Jason laughed, relieved. "That's an understatement. I almost pretended to get a fake emergency call." "Same," she admitted, smiling. "But here we are. Still alive." Conversation came easier than Jason expected. They talked about work. Jason mentioned he worked remotely as a data analyst. Claire said she worked in corporate consulting. She didn't elaborate much, and Jason didn't push. They talked about Seattle rain, favorite comfort foods, and childhood memories. Claire laughed easily, but Jason noticed something else. She listened intently. Like his words mattered. Eventually she asked, "So, Megan mentioned you have a son." Jason hesitated. This was usually where things shifted, where interest faded. "I do," he said. "Noah. He's 7. Claire's face softened instantly. "That's a good age." Jason blinked. "You're okay with that?" "Of course," she said. "Being a parent changes you. It doesn't make you less interesting, it makes you real." Something in Jason's chest tightened. He found himself telling her about Noah's obsession with dinosaurs, how he still crawled into Jason's bed during thunderstorms, how bedtime stories were the highlight of his day. He hadn't talked about his son like this to anyone outside family. "And his mom?" Claire asked carefully. Jason's smile faded, just slightly. "She passed away." "I'm sorry," Claire said softly, without pity, without awkwardness. "Thank you." Another silence, but this one felt different. Comfortable. Jason checked the time, surprised to see nearly 2 hours had passed. "I was supposed to leave an hour ago," he said. Claire smiled. "Me too." They stood outside the cafe as dusk settled over the city. Streetlights flickered on, and traffic hummed in the distance. "I had a really nice time," Jason said honestly. "So did I," Claire replied. Then, after a pause, "Can I be honest? Please. There's something about me you don't know yet," she said. "Something important." Jason's stomach tightened, but not with fear. With curiosity. "Okay," he said. Claire met his eyes, her expression suddenly serious. "Maybe not tonight," she continued. "But if we see each other again, I'll tell you. Jason nodded slowly. I'd like that. They exchanged numbers. Claire walked away, disappearing into the crowd. Jason stood there longer than necessary, phone in hand, heart racing. He didn't know it yet, but agreeing to that blind date had just changed everything. Jason told himself not to overthink it. That lasted exactly 12 minutes. He'd checked his phone 5 times since getting Noah settled at school, reread Claire's last text twice, and debated whether replying too fast made him look desperate. Dating apps had never prepared him for this, the strange mix of excitement and fear that came with actually liking someone. Finally, his phone buzzed. Claire, still on for Saturday? Jason smiled before typing back. Jason, yeah. I just need to be home by 8. Dad duties. Claire, I understand. Dinner at my favorite place? I'll pick something low-key. That should have felt normal. And it did, mostly. Except for the faint unease that followed him since their first date. Claire had been warm, funny, and attentive, but also careful. Like she was holding something back. Saturday evening came quickly. Jason chose a casual restaurant near the waterfront. String lights, wood tables, the kind of place where families and couples blended together without pressure. When Claire arrived, she looked different this time. No coat. Simple dress. Minimal makeup. Still stunning. You look nice, Jason said, instantly feeling like he'd undersold it. Thank you, she replied. You look relaxed. I had help, he joked. My sister approved this outfit. They laughed, and the tension melted, at least on the surface. Dinner flowed easily. They talked about music, travel dreams, and the strange freedom that came with your 30s, knowing who you were but still questioning where life was headed. At one point, Claire asked, do you ever feel like your life split into before and after? Jason paused. Every day. She nodded slowly, like she understood more than she was saying. As they walked along the waterfront afterward, the city lights reflecting off the water, Jason felt something he hadn't felt in years. Hope. Not the reckless kind. The careful, fragile kind. You mentioned before, Jason said, stopping near the railing, that there was something important about you. Claire exhaled. I did. You don't have to tell me, he added quickly. I just want you to know I'm not expecting perfection. She smiled faintly. That's good. Because I'm far from it. She turned toward him. Jason, what are you really looking for? He didn't hesitate. Honesty. Stability. Someone who understands that my son comes first, and doesn't see that as baggage. Claire swallowed. And if that someone's life is complicated? Jason shrugged gently. Life is complicated. For a moment, he thought she might tell him everything right there. Instead, she said, I'd like to meet Noah someday. When you're ready. That caught him off guard. You would. Yes, she said softly. But only if this is real. Jason nodded. It is. For me. Claire reached out, brushing her fingers against his hand, not holding it yet. Testing. Jason let his hand stay there. They stood like that, the space between them charged but respectful. Then Claire's phone rang. Her expression changed the moment she saw the screen. I'm sorry, she said. I have to take this. She stepped a few feet away, her voice low. Jason couldn't hear the words, but he saw the shift, the straightening of her posture, the controlled calm that felt professional. Powerful. Yes, she said. I understand. Monday morning. When she returned, her smile was back, but something had hardened behind it. Everything okay? Jason asked. Yes, she said quickly. Just work. Jason nodded, though doubt crept in. They said goodbye soon after. No kiss. Just a long look and a promise to talk soon. That night, after Noah was asleep, Jason scrolled mindlessly on his phone. News, emails, local headlines. Then he froze. A photo caught his eye. A corporate article. A woman standing behind a podium at a charity gala. Brown hair. Familiar eyes. Claire Anderson, CEO of Anderson Consulting Group. Jason stared at the screen, heart pounding. Same name. Same face. No, he whispered. The The woman he'd just opened his life to wasn't just corporate consulting. She was one of the most powerful executives in the city. And she hadn't told him. Jason barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, the same image flashed back. Claire behind the podium, confident and composed, the headline calling her one of the most influential women in Seattle's corporate world. It wasn't just that she was successful. It was that she hadn't told him. Not when he'd been open about everything. By morning, he felt foolish. Vulnerable. He dropped Noah at school, answered emails he couldn't focus on, and finally did the thing he'd been avoiding. He texted her. "Jason, I saw something last night. We need to talk." The reply came almost instantly. "Claire, I was afraid of that. Can we meet?" They agreed on the same coffee shop where they'd first met. Full circle. Claire was already there when Jason arrived, sitting in the corner with both hands wrapped around her cup, eyes tired but steady. She stood when she saw him. "Jason." He held up a hand. "Please. Just, let me say this first." She nodded, sitting back down. "I don't care that you're a CEO, he said quietly. "I care that you didn't trust me enough to tell me." Claire closed her eyes for a brief moment, like she'd been bracing for impact. "You're right," she said. "I should have told you sooner." "Why didn't you?" he asked. She met his gaze. "Because the last time I did, everything changed." She explained how dating had never been normal for her. How people either felt intimidated, overly impressed, or secretly resentful. How some men tried to compete with her, while others disappeared the moment they realized she didn't need them. "I wanted someone to see me first," she said softly. "Not my title. Not my money." Jason leaned back, absorbing that. "I wasn't lying to you," she continued. "I was waiting. Maybe too long." Silence stretched between them. Finally, Jason said, "I would have shown up anyway." Claire's eyes filled, but she didn't cry. "There's more," she admitted. "If this continues, my world will eventually collide with yours. Public events. Media. People talking. I didn't want to drag your son into something he didn't choose." That hit him harder than anything else she'd said. "Noah comes first," Jason said firmly. "Always." "I know," Claire replied. "That's why I was scared." Jason studied her face, the strength, the exhaustion beneath it, the sincerity. "I don't want power," he said. "I want peace. If you can give me honesty, I can handle the rest." Claire nodded slowly. "Then let me be honest now." She reached across the table and took his hand. "I like you," she said. "Not because you're a single dad. Not because you're safe. But because you're real. And because you see me." Jason's chest tightened. "I like you too," he admitted. "But I need to know this won't turn into a secret life." "It won't," she promised. "I'm done hiding." They didn't rush anything after that. No dramatic kiss. Just understanding. Outside, the rain had started again, soft, steady. As they walked together under the awning, Claire stopped. "There's something else," she said. Jason raised an eyebrow. "Another reveal?" She smiled faintly. "I have a board meeting tomorrow. They already know about you." He blinked. "They what?" "I told them I'm seeing someone," she said. "A single dad. And that I'm serious." Jason let out a slow breath. "That's a lot." "I know," she said. "But I didn't want you to feel like I was ashamed." He nodded, deeply moved. "Then I guess," he said, "the next step is meeting Noah. Eventually." Claire's smile was gentle. "Only when he's ready." As they parted, Jason realized something surprising. He wasn't scared of her world anymore. He was scared of losing her. And for the first time since Emily, that fear didn't feel like betrayal. It felt like life. Jason didn't rush it. For 2 weeks, Claire stayed just Dad's friend in Noah's world, a name mentioned casually, never pushed. Jason watched carefully, listening for hesitation in his own heart as much as in his son's words. One evening, after homework and spaghetti, Noah looked up and asked, "Is Claire the lady who makes you smile at your phone?" Jason froze. "Yeah," he admitted. Noah considered this seriously. Can I meet her? Jason swallowed. You sure? Noah nodded. As long as she doesn't try to be my mom. That night, Jason told Claire. She didn't celebrate. She didn't push. She said, tell him I'm just someone who wants to know him. They chose a Saturday afternoon at the zoo. Public, easy, full of distractions. No pressure. No expectations. Claire arrived early, wearing jeans and sneakers, her hair pulled back. No makeup. No executive armor. Jason noticed, and appreciated it. Noah stood close to Jason at first, clutching his jacket pocket like a lifeline. Claire crouched to his eye level. Hi Noah, she said. Your dad says you're an expert on dinosaurs. Noah's eyes lit up despite himself. T-Rex was fast, but not as smart as a velociraptor. Claire nodded solemnly. Important distinction. That was it. The wall cracked. They spent 2 hours walking, laughing, learning which animals Noah loved and which ones smelled suspicious. Claire never forced conversation, never corrected him, never acted like she knew better. She just showed up. At one point, Noah grabbed Claire's hand without thinking. Jason looked away, blinking hard. Later, while Noah watched the seals, Claire leaned close and whispered, You did a good job with him. Jason smiled. He did a good job with you. That evening, Noah fell asleep in the car. Jason hesitated before saying, You know, if this keeps going, there will be a tension. Claire nodded. I know. And you're still okay with that? I'm more worried about being worthy of this, she said quietly. Jason reached for her hand. I don't need perfect, he said. I need present. She squeezed his fingers. The next week, reality tested them. A blurry photo of Claire leaving the zoo surfaced online. The headline wasn't cruel, but it was curious. CEO Claire Anderson spotted with mystery man and child. Jason saw it before Claire could warn him. His phone rang minutes later. I'm sorry, she said, voice tight. I tried to keep this private. Jason looked at Noah, asleep on the couch with a blanket half on the floor. He didn't choose this, Jason said. I know, Claire replied. If you want to walk away, I'll understand. Jason thought of the zoo. The hand-holding. The calm. I'm not walking, he said. But we need boundaries. They set them. No photos, no events, no public statements. For now. Weeks passed. Claire blended into their routines. Sunday pancakes, science fair projects, bedtime stories when Jason worked late. One night, Noah asked, Can Claire come to my school thing? Jason looked at Claire. She waited. Yeah, Jason said. If she wants. Claire smiled, eyes shining. I'd love to. As Jason watched them later, Noah explaining a poster, Claire listening like it mattered, he realized something terrifying and beautiful. This wasn't dating anymore. This was a family forming. And the world was watching. The email came on a Tuesday morning. Jason almost deleted it without opening. Another message from a school list, another reminder about a bake sale or fundraiser. But this one had a subject line that made his stomach drop. Concern regarding media attention. It was from the school principal. Jason read it twice, then a third time. The message was polite. Careful. But the meaning was clear. Parents had noticed the article, the whispers were spreading, and the school wanted reassurance that Noah's environment would remain stable and private. Jason closed his laptop and stared at the wall. This was what he'd feared. That night, after Noah was asleep, Jason told Claire. She listened without interrupting, her face growing paler with every word. I never wanted this, she said quietly. I know, Jason replied. But wanting and reality aren't the same thing. She nodded, jaw tight. I can step back. The words felt like a knife. Step back how? Jason asked. I can disappear, she said. No public appearances. No events. No photos. I can even take a break from us if that's what keeps Noah safe. Jason stood, pacing the room. You shouldn't have to erase yourself, he said. But my son shouldn't have to pay for your job. Claire's voice cracked. Then tell me what to do. He stopped in front of her. Tell me if this is temporary for you, he said. Or if this is your life. She met his eyes. This is my life. And so are you. Silence filled the room. The next week was brutal. Paparazzi appeared outside Claire's office building. Her board pushed her to make a statement, control the narrative, define the relationship. Some suggested presenting Jason as a family man success story. Claire refused. I won't turn them into branding, she said. At the same time, Noah came home quieter, less talkative. One evening, Jason found him sitting on his bed, backpack still on. Hey, buddy, Jason said gently. What's wrong? Noah hesitated. A kid said my dad was famous now. Jason's chest tightened. And how did that make you feel? Noah shrugged. I don't want to be famous. I just want things to stay the same. Jason pulled him into a hug, holding on longer than usual. That night, Jason made a decision. He called Claire. I need space, he said, voice steady but hollow. Not because I don't love you, but because I love him more. Claire didn't argue. I understand, she whispered. I always will. Days turned into weeks. Jason focused on routines, school drop-offs, homework, movie nights. The noise faded. The headlines moved on. But the house felt emptier. One evening, Noah looked up from his cereal and asked, Did Claire go away because of me? Jason's heart broke. No, he said firmly. Never because of you. But she didn't say goodbye. Jason swallowed hard. Across town, Claire sat alone in her penthouse, staring at her phone, rereading Jason's last message. She'd lost deals before. Power. People. But this loss was different. This one had been her choice. And yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that the story wasn't over. Because love like that doesn't disappear. It waits. 3 months passed. Winter softened into early spring, and life found its rhythm again. Jason settled back into routines that felt familiar. School drop-offs, grocery runs, bedtime stories. On the surface, everything was calm. But some nights, after Noah fell asleep, Jason stood in the kitchen staring at nothing, thinking about a woman who had once filled the quiet with laughter. Claire. She hadn't disappeared entirely. She'd stepped down from public galas, reduced her media presence, and quietly restructured her role, something no headline ever mentioned. What did make the news was this. Claire Anderson announces transition to advisory role, names successor as CEO. Jason read the article twice. Then a third time. She'd given up power. Not completely, but enough to reclaim privacy. He didn't call her. Not yet. A week later, Noah came home waving a permission slip. Dad, there's a community science day at the museum. Can we go? Jason smiled. Of course. On Saturday, the museum buzzed with families and laughter. Jason stood in line for tickets when Noah suddenly froze. Dad, he whispered. Is that Claire? Jason turned. She stood near the dinosaur exhibit, wearing a simple sweater and jeans, hair loose, no entourage, no cameras. Just Claire. Their eyes met. Time slowed. Jason walked over cautiously. Hi. Hi, she said softly. I didn't know you'd be here. Noah stepped forward before either adult could stop him. You didn't say goodbye, he said, not accusing, just honest. Claire crouched instantly, eyes shining. I'm sorry. I should have. Did you leave because of me? Claire shook her head. No. I left because I needed to be brave. Jason felt his throat tighten. They talked, really talked, sitting on a bench while Noah explored nearby. Claire explained her choice. I realized I was protecting my job more than my life, she said. So I changed it. Jason looked at her. You didn't have to do that. I know, she replied. I wanted to. Silence settled between them, warm instead of painful. I never stopped loving you, Jason admitted. Claire smiled through tears. Neither did I. Noah returned, holding a plastic dinosaur. Can we all get lunch? Jason looked at Claire. She waited. Yes, Jason said. We can. They didn't rush. They rebuilt, slow dinners, Clear boundaries, open conversations. No secrets. No hiding. Months later, at Noah's school science fair, Claire stood beside Jason, not as a CEO, not as a headline, but as someone who chose love over fear. Noah won second place. Jason had never been prouder. That night, after Noah fell asleep, Jason took Claire's hand. "I don't need perfect," he said again. "I need you." She leaned into him. "Then I'm here." And for the first time, the future didn't feel heavy. It felt possible.